going to do a chart interpretation. We're going to start with the human design basics. So the profile, the type, the inner authority, and the incarnation cross. And then in the second part, we're going to go deeper into the mechanics and also include the gene keys. So here we have a 4-6 profile. The fourth line is about connecting with the heart. It's about friendship. It's about trust. In human design, we call this the opportunist, and it's allowing people to come to it. It's going to speak about something that has worked for it or something it cares about, and it's going to influence other people from that open-heartedness. It is about breath, so it's important to be able to breathe with others. It is about, like I said, the heart, and that means that in the shadow, there's going to have been heartbreak or broken trust. And the way that the fourth line functions in the shadow, it's not dramatic or aggressive. It actually kind of just becomes silent. It just becomes cold inside. And it has that kind of feeling that the world is not a kind place. It stops to trust in the kindness of the world. And here, since we have a 4-6 profile, with the 6th line, we have a human being that has 3 very distinct parts of life. So the first 30 years up until the first Saturn return is the trial and error phase. And that's when the 4-6 can often have kind of the wrong friends, or friends that aren't wanting or able to connect in that heartfelt sense, like the 4-6 wants. And there is something with the 4-6 that it can be friends with everybody. So in the first 30 years, it's usually not so discerning. And that is because it's here to kind of have those third line experiences. The 6th line in the first 30 years is a third line. So it's here to go through trial and error when it comes to relationships. Often with parents to 4-6 children, it can be hard to see them hang out with the wrong people, and they have to realize it by themselves. So the 4th line is about daring to live with an open heart. And the challenge here is anxiety. And the anxiety is when the 4th line becomes mental and it kind of exaggerates the problem. So what can happen with the 4-6 is that somebody from the outside sees your life and they are like, wow, that's a really good life. That look like you have so many friends and you are so kind and everything seems good. But the fourth line can have anxieties where it makes issues bigger than they are. And then the anxiety really like kind of changes the reality. And then really in that anxiety, it can also attract what it actually least want. So breaking out of anxiety by coming back to the heart, by coming back to the breath, that is super important. For the 4th line, it can always check its breath. And if the breath is constricted, then we know that either the friendships aren't safe, or the environment, it's not doing what it loves. It's not here to engage in what really makes the heart open. And then with the 6th line, like we said, there are 3 phases. Here we have the visionary, we have the high ideals, we have the dream of a better world. So this is the only profile that has 2 transpersonal lines. So 4, 5, 6 are transpersonal. So this means that it can be very much focused on the other and how to influence the other, how to be friends with the other, how to connect with the other, how to see the future with the other. So if you don't feel influential in that sense, or if you don't feel you have valuable friendships, it can be a very lonely place to be. And that can be in the first 30 years, maybe it's to say yes to all the friendships, even the ones that would have been probably more calm and harmonious to say no to. And then in the next 20 years, from 30 to 50, it can feel lonely because it's that phase of being on the roof and discerning. And often that means to not engage until there is this more of a wisdom of why there is a connection. And the 6th line is here to embody the future. So when we have the 6th line in the body, it's the place where we can't manipulate it with the mind. It's there, and it is the future of it is the body of the future. There is something powerful there, and there's something I believe we're going to see more and more towards 2027, how the sixth line is that role model in the way it moves through the world, in the way it is an example for others. And it's not an example in the way that the mind influences. It's actually the true role modeling comes from the body, from the movement. And important for the 4-6 to have people that are nurturing that vision. And a good thing is to decide or feel into, what do I love doing? And then you find a community where that is an interest, where that's something people care about. And then when you are doing what you love, you are radiant, and you're going to attract to you people that also love that, or they are on a similar wavelength. So that is the 4-6 profile. And then here we have a projector. So we have the open sacral center. We have 4 defined centers here. The root is a motor. So we have some energy, some fuel here that comes from the 58-18. So here we have this half unconscious motivation to correct that is very, very strong. We have the 18 in the life's work, and then the 58 in the purpose. So this strong capacity to working on what's been spoiled, seeing what's not satisfactory. We'll come back more to the mechanics in the second part. So, but what we see here is that open sacral center where there is no consistent life force. And this is why we want the projector to only engage in places and groups with people where you're valued, where you're appreciated, where people can see that you are a jewel, a diamond. That is extremely important. And in human design language, we say wait for the invitation. And I would say sometimes that is misunderstood, and projectors feel like their hands are tied because there is no formal invitation. So I would say you have this piercing awareness. So you will know when you are appreciated, when you're valued, and that's where you want to go. And then we go to the inner authority, that is splenic. So this kind of goes back to this channel. What makes this a splenic authority is that we have a channel from the spleen that defines the spleen, and we don't have the emotional or the sacral defined. So it's not an emotional authority, it's not a sacral authority, it is a splenic authority. And this is the truth in the now, is instinct, very connected to the physical body, to feeling in the body, if something smells right, tastes right, feels right, and also that more subtle intuition. So that's in the now, the truth is in the now. Super important. And then we can go directly to the Incarnation cross. And then we actually want to look at where does it come from. So here we have the astrology chart, and the cross comes from the astrology. So here we have the sun in the 18th gate in Libra. So here we go to Libra, and we have the sun here in the 18th gate. And then opposite the sun, we're going to have the earth. So that's what makes the conscious side 18 and 17. And then we're going to go back 88 degrees in the wheel, and the wheel is counterclockwise. So basically we need to go clockwise in order to see where we have this this other activation for the sun. So here we go from Libra back to Virgo, back to Leo, back to Cancer. And here we have the design sun in 52. And opposite of it, we have the 58. So 58 and 52 and 17 and 18. So that's what you see the Incarnation cross here. So like I said before, it is about correcting. We actually have the channel here between the personality sun and the sign earth. Very important. The 18 is also the design Pluto here. And then the other part of the cross, I mean, I would say this cross is all about vitality. It is about serving the world, having that overview as a 4-6 to serve the world, but serving the world into living a better life, more vitality, more inner stillness, more energy. That's what it's about. And it does that. The mind is very awake. The mind is very discerning. It can zoom in and out. It can see the details. It can see what's been spoiled. And what it's used for is this vision of a world where we have more vitality, where we have more inner stillness, where we live in a way that is more worth it. So somehow, I mean, it's not this somehow this cross, I feel like it's great. It's not so complicated, you know, it's just beautiful, especially for a 4-6, because here we have these more like collective is what I feel here. So that it is important like that it's cross of service for the collective. And then as a 4-6, which is very transpersonal, it kind of goes together with the cross really well. Yeah, so that's the first part of the human design basics.